across the fence, the best snow sculptors in the world, and a team of Vermonters take home the top prize. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. Back in February, teams from all over the world descended on Colorado for the annual International Snow Sculpture Championships. When the invitation-only competition was over, the gold medal was earned by a team from Vermont. Joining me this afternoon are two members of the World Championship team. I want to welcome Michael Nadal and Brooke Monty. Congratulations. That's quite an accomplishment.
Thank you.
Now, you brought along some great photographs that we're going to share with folks, so let's get started with the World Championship in Breckenridge, Colorado. Who is on Team Vermont?
My name is Michael Nadal. I'm the captain of the team. This is Brooke Monty. Brooke and I have been sculpting together for 15 years?
Something, over a decade.
And there's another person named Adrian Tons who lives down in Woodstock, Vermont. We've been sculpting together for about the same time. And then there's some various people that join us. There's a guy named Alex Dostie who joins us once in a while. This year we had a gentleman named Dave Rosti join us.
And so now this is a picture of your winning entry. What's its name? What was the theme? And how did you come up with that?
This is Rhonda and her recycling roboctopus. So she has built a robot to cruise along the bottom of the ocean and recycle some of the trash that's down there.
And so how did you come up with that?
Well, Dave sent me a picture of a person riding a robot, riding a octopus. It was just a kid with a cowboy hat riding an octopus. I thought it was a neat idea. And as we were talking about that idea, I was also building a art piece for the Fish Festival, and we were using parts from the generator, which is the local makerspace that Brooke's a part of as well. And we were talking about that makerspace ingenuity that is coming about these days. And the idea progressed from just being a kid on an octopus to a deeper idea.
And so were you free to do whatever design you wanted?
It's you submit a sketch. That's how they accept you or don't accept you into this competition.
Now, this is not your first time at the International Championship. How long have you been doing snow sculpting, and how did you get involved?
Started in 1999, I believe, and I saw the competition on the waterfront. They used to have the state competition along the Burlington waterfront, and I saw it and I was like, that is awesome. How do you get involved? And they said, you sign up on the mailing list. So I signed up with Parks and Rec, and the next year I got a application in the mail, and I signed up, and it was Brooke wasn't around, but
you asked Adrian?
I asked Adrian, my friend Adrian, who's a great artist, and a woman we were hanging out with named Janice, and we came in second in the competition. And the first place team did not want to go to the first prize was going to the nationals. So the first
in Wisconsin.
The second
in
place,
the winter.
In the winter, yeah.
Whose idea is that?
And the second place team didn't want to go, so we said we'll go, and we had a lot of fun.
I bet. Now, who does what on the team, and how do you make all those final details?
That's a good question, and it's really a race against time. From they have a shotgun start, and then they'll give a countdown. So you have to put your tools down at a certain time. So it's really we try to pace ourselves. We all talk about it. We're a really collaborative team.
Yeah, we all bring the tools out together. We all set up the tools. We talk about how it's going to come together, and a lot of times people will check other people, say, you doing that right?
I'm the captain in mostly the paperwork department. I'll fill out the paperwork and the application and all that stuff. I'm pretty good with time, with allocations of time. So I try to kind of oversee that part.
Right.
But Brooke's a great artist.
A lot of times if you're doing details, which I do a lot of detail-oriented stuff. You can lose track of time. And
I bet.
And you forget. Like,
And now, shortly after the final judging this year, the weather caused some sculptures to fall apart. What happened to Rhonda?
Rhonda lost a tentacle.
Rhonda,
Right there, you
the
can see.
octopus.
Yeah.
So that's a couple tentacles, right?
Yeah.
At least
Yeah, that one.
one.
Well, the two in the front went down.
two.
Was
right.
holding a tire. It was a.
It was precarious.
Yeah. But luckily, the judging happened just before the arms broke off.
Maybe an hour, or maybe even less than an hour. Yeah.
So did the altitude have any impact on any of you or any of the sculptures?
Yes.
Really?
Well, on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The altitude gets you.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's over a mile. It's a mile, and it's almost 2 miles.
Yeah. It's 11,000 feet high.
So you carry your suitcases up the stairs, and normally you're like, well, those are heavy suitcases. And then you go to Breckenridge and you carry the suitcases up the stairs, and you have to catch your breath for another minute.
Yeah.
Now, there were 16 teams competing at the International Championship, and you beat out a team from Switzerland for the gold medal. And we take a look at some of the sculptures that you were competing against. Tell us how the competition works and what the rules are.
It's timed. So you have allocated times per day. No power tools.
No colorants.
No colorants. Only your team members can work on the sculpture.
No inner supports.
Right.
So no
No.
apparatus or anything.
No. What do you call it? Yeah, supports.
Yeah.
There's a word for it.
And it's really
Armature.
Yeah, no armatures, and it's really just you and your ideas and a handful of hand tools. That's really
And the clock.
and the clock.
And the weather too. I mean, sometimes it gets warm in the middle of the day, and you say, maybe I should wait till it's a little cooler to work
Yeah.
on this part.
And how many days did you have to work?
Tuesday. They started Tuesday. You get a short day Tuesday.
Short day Tuesday.
Full day Wednesday. Full day Thursday, and then Friday,
You have all night
you get to work all night long.
to
And
the morning.
is that usually what happens?
It's usually we plan for it every year not to work all night long, and it always works out that we end up working all
We
night
got maybe, I think I got a couple hours of sleep this year. Slept for, it was nice.
long. I got a nap in there.
Yeah,
So
we got
tell me a
little
little
nap
bit
at
about how 3 in the morning, how you came up with ideas, some of your ideas for sculptures.
It's really, we get together and talk about it. Usually somebody has a gem or a seed of an idea, and then we just keep talking out. Because I think a lot of the other teams, some of them are a group of friends, but we're definitely a group of friends.
A lot of teams have like one sort of artist, and then he or she will kind of change the people that they choose to work with. But we have a neat dynamic. We've known each other for a really long time, and we are comfortable bouncing ideas off of each other, and so we're all kind of in it together.
So now what kind of rewards do you get for winning?
Oh, yeah, this is the
Lot of money.
The big, the big prize. We got a medal this year.
You got that's great.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
little
glass medal. Says
And
first place.
and then we did get a basket. It was a beautiful basket from Breckenridge. It had the Breckenridge bourbon in it, and the ginger beers and limes, and these copper mugs, so we can make what they call the Breckenridge Mule. But there's no real cash prize.
And tell me a little bit about travel too, because is that something that you have to foot the bill for?
We do. We foot the bill for that, and then when we get there, we do get a travel stipend. But it's all very costly to us. So we did get sponsors. Dealer.com sponsored us this year. We have a sponsor called Combi that makes gloves and long underwear. They've been giving us gloves and long underwear for a long time, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Darn Tough sent us some socks. So the kind people of Vermont were nice to us, and that definitely helps out.
So how many sculptures do you do a year, and do you practice, and how do you practice?
We had three. I had 3 planned this year, but we got to do 1 because of the weather. There's this event in Woodstock. The state event is in Woodstock that Adrian puts on, and that was canceled this year. And then we had another piece planned for the Shelburne Museum.
Oh yeah,
Which was
That also,
canceled.
there's no snow.
Yeah, there's no snow. We try to do at least one very big piece, and then usually we go to the states, and then sometimes we compete against each other at the state competition.
Yeah,
just
sometimes
to
we split up and
switch it up.
So now, earlier you talked a little bit about getting started in snow sculpting, and we found a few pictures of your early days at the Burlington Winter Festival and the Vermont State Competition. Are there some key things that you learned through the experience? And tell me a little bit about this one that you're working on here.
That's that was right after the 9/11, and that was it was a giant microscope, and we put the flag under the U.S. flag underneath the microscope because it seemed like we were under the microscope. And I think that previous to this one, I think we did a lot. You know, we did a hummingbird, we did a human cannonball, but this one kind of took us into a different realm where we.
first mechanical piece, right?
Yeah, it was mechanical. It was just just a pretty far out idea, and I think that's really our niche. Once we started really getting into the art,
Symbolism and the storytelling of objects.
and here you're seeing 1 year they didn't have snow, so they gave us ice to work with.
Okay.
And that's not our piece, but it's a beautiful piece.
Yeah, that works well on ice.
Yeah.
So ice is hard.
Yeah, I would
That
imagine.
one's kind of weird. That's not our piece either.
Okay, we'll move on. Now, this is how it all starts, right? I mean, this is what you have to work
That's
with.
what you get one, and in Burlington you get one semi-clean
It's like
giant block of snow.
how many tons of snow is that? It's a lot of snow.
That's probably about 4 or 5. The ones in Breckenridge are 20. They say.
Wow.
Breckenridge is quite big. It's 8 by 8 by 10.
And the snow's very dense. They use the man-made snow, and they pump up the moisture in it, so it's very dense. And here we are on Church Street. We're making Brooke and I are really into the negative space,
Right, making air.
making air, and also giving it, instead of just carving the outside to look like a giant pear or an apple or something, we're into this the three-dimensionality of the art.
Is that what sort of keeps you going, is just being able to try different things?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be careful, too, because you don't want to get something falling on you.
I had one fall on me.
And you live to tell about it. Tell me about that. What happened?
It was lucky that it wasn't really dense snow. It was soft. It was in Woodstock, and the snow is made from the ground rather than the snow machine. So it was a little brittle, and we had taken a lot of snow off of the sculpture. There's a saying, "Go thin to win." So it's always tempting to take more snow off, and it really was not. It would have failed an engineering project. But
now-
aesthetically, it was kind of cool.
So what's next? Are you going to be defending your title as International Snow Sculpture Champions?
Well, next year the application is due in September, so we'll probably get together soon and talk about ideas, and then we could go to Japan. There's a competition in Japan that we know about, so we might want to go to Japan.
That's one of the advantages of winning a big international is you now have a name recognition. Pretty much, if we wanted to go anywhere in the world, they'd be like, "Oh, you guys are good. Sure, we'll have you."
I didn't know there was such a circuit.
There's a competition in the Alps of Italy. If that looks interesting.
I think that would be very interesting.
There's one, and everyone's seen the huge. You'll see them online. The huge sculptures that they do in Harbin, China, and there's an international competition that goes along with that. So we can go to China if we wanted to.
Now, if people want to learn more about Team Vermont, what should they do?
We have a website, vermontsnows.com.
Facebook. Do a Facebook page.
And I believe we have a Facebook page.
So what do you do in the summertime? Do you use the other mediums?
Ride bikes.
Right? No sculpting, no sand sculpting, no.
Last year, I got involved in the Fish Festival, and I made a sound visualization lab, and Brooke and Alex and Adrian, we all helped out on that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for joining me today. It was great looking at your photos.
Thank you.
That's our program for today. I'm Judy Simpson. We'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.